school. Never mind what your parents told you. Disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. When your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, that was screwed up. Well, Merry Christmas. It's December 20th, 2018. We're in the Freedom Towers studio on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers in Liberty City. Where at, Nathan?
The North Pole.
We are at the North Pole. Santa Claus is in the audience. Do we have an applause for Santa Claus?
Oh,
I'm sure we do. Yay. The jolly old elf himself. Oh, it's Mrs. Claus. Being chased around the fireplace.
Happy Santa.
Happy Santa's doing well. I have my Christmas hat on, although that's not quite true. I couldn't find mine, so I have my wife. So it says Janet.
You were going to wear it backwards because you were ashamed
and you
to have a woman's name on your head.
You convinced me that I'm gender neutral and that it doesn't matter what you call me.
I didn't convince you that. I convinced you that is the most masculine thing you're wearing today.
That may be true.
Well, you have dinosaurs on your shirt. I guess that's pretty
true.
good.
I got T-Rex pulling Santa's sleigh.
All right.
Santa's really old because those dinosaurs. Oh, they're only 6,000 years old. So
well, but we went and met Santa yesterday.
Do tell.
I guess we saw him.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out at the local mall.
Yeah, he does that sometimes.
Yeah, somehow he hangs out at all of them.
When it's August, it's a little more odd, but
yeah, it's really weird.
This time of year,
in
it's
August,
okay.
But he was around there, and we went and visited, and he plays the ukulele.
Yeah, how do you know that?
Cool, because he's always playing the ukulele when he's waiting for
tell the story.
Next family. Which story?
Your oldest daughter plays the ukulele.
She also plays the ukulele.
And she had a ukulele, or did he have it?
That was his ukulele.
Oh, cool. And she played a little bit, and then he...
So this is how it went, and tells you a little something about our teenager. He said, "What do you want?" And she said, "Another ukulele." And he said, "Oh, what happened to your last ukulele?" And she said, "Nothing. I just want more ukuleles." Okay. So then he said, "Well, get mine." And she got in, and she got to play the ukulele with Santa.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
He actually gave her music lessons.
He was trying to get her interested. Oh, I'm coming apart here.
Sure. Anaconda don't want that.
Trying to, he teaching her a little bit of music theory. Well, he was trying. I don't know.
Yeah, she nodded like
she did. Yeah, she was very polite.
She was
polite to Santa.
She's a good kid.
And then the Wrangler was like, Santa, because there was a whole line,
there's
right?
800 people waiting.
Almost Christmas. Santa, you ready for the next family? Or
please don't take as long.
Come on, family. So that was cool.
He was a good Santa too. He had a nice costume, real beard, and all that. He looked. I mean, what am I saying?
Of course,
it was the real Santa.
Jeez, what are you talking about?
Stupid. So. We want to wish all our listeners happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all of the holidays at this time of the year.
Yes, Merry Xmas.
We don't want to leave anyone out. We love all our listeners. Whether they're pagans or...
I mean, Jeff.
Yeah, we don't like Jeff.
I don't know about Jeff, but the rest of our listeners we do like.
You know, we actually have a listener, Jeff, in Arizona. And now
we like him.
Oh, it's a different Jeff.
Different Jeff. The other Jeff.
Yeah, of course.
You know. I should have picked a different name, I guess.
You should have, like Bernard.
Rick.
We don't know any Bernards.
You know any Ricks?
I do.
That listen to our show?
No.
Okay, well, Rick. We don't like Rick.
I work with a Rick.
Just kidding. I'm sure I do, too. All right, let's move on. It's going to be Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. And for Christmas, the White House gave us what? A ban on bump stocks.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
157-page document, all saying... bump stocks are machine guns.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Or did they? I don't know. It's still confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody came up on the internet with all kinds of workarounds by making their own bump stocks and belt loops
No,
and
look, you
fingers.
can-
And
People have been doing it for years
Yeah,
with
stupid.
just their finger.
Right.
I mean, or put your finger through your belt loop. You can do it that way. You can use a rubber band. You can just generally be able to pull the trigger fast.
yeah.
Like the world record speed shooter can shoot generally faster than a bump stock.
Miklik,
So is he a machine gun?
I think he would be classified, and he needs to have a stamp on his forehead.
Yeah, and it's not clear because it says it's banned because it allows you one trigger pull and then the gun will continue firing without any more physical manipulation.
I don't
That doesn't
think
make
that's
sense
true.
at all.
No, that's not
You
true.
still have to pull the trigger every
Right,
time.
right.
It's just I hate government.
I do too.
Hate
I
it.
do too. So we'll see. I think I heard that GOA, Gun Owners of America, and maybe the Second Amendment Foundation might be filing lawsuits.
Yeah, and another
Group.
concealed firearms. It was a somewhat obscure group. I can't remember what
Okay.
it was, but I think they were the first maybe to file suit. Now I'm not sure how that works because nobody's been caused harm yet, right? Because it's not in effect for another 60 or 90 days or something.
Yeah, it's
By the way, this was like not only a ban, it was a ban on possession. Where like assault weapons ban, right? It wasn't a ban on possession necessarily. Like if you already had
it's
one,
grandfathered.
if you already had one, you could continue to own it. Bump stocks,
You got to turn them in,
Donald
destroy
Trump
them.
says no, you can't have them at all.
Yeah.
You have to turn them all in. You can either turn them into the ATF or destroy them yourself.
Right.
Which I'll get right on that. I
It's-
plan on going boating this weekend anyway. So
So the ATF said, consistent with its authority to reconsider and rectify potential classification errors,
okay.
they reviewed earlier documents for bump-style stock devices between 2008 and 2017 and concluded that those devices did not include extensive legal analysis of the statutory term automatically or single function of the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crap. They're reaching for straws. There are 11 states that have banned them. California, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington. And then several dozen cities around the country have also banned them. And it's much ado about nothing because they don't solve any kind of problem.
Bump stocks are banning them.
Bump stocks aren't
Yeah,
causing a problem.
Yeah, they're not causing a problem, and banning them isn't solving a problem.
Right.
There weren't too many murders being committed with bump stocks.
Just those 50 in Las Vegas.
Maybe.
Yeah, the point is he didn't have to use bump stocks and would have gotten probably better.
Probably
kills.
more because he could have aimed.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's disgusting. It is by far, not even close, the worst thing that Donald Trump has done.
I couldn't believe
The
your post.
worst thing.
You said Donald Trump is a jerk for that.
No, I said jackass.
Oh, jackass. Oh,
Are we allowed to say that?
Forgive me. Yeah, we could say jackass. That's a donkey.
But we can't say. I can't say it.
You can't say it.
See? I tried.
Is it because of your?
It was a visual joke. Sorry.
Is it because of they cut your tongue out? ATF did
I have a
a tongue disorder.
yeah.
It's a disorder, all right. You open your mouth and sounds come out.
That's honestly as long as it is.
You have a short tongue.
Oh, it's stuck. I don't know if it's any shorter than normal, but it's tied in there. You know.
You could probably surgically cut I could do that tonight. That little thing that
Oh.
hangs down underneath, we could just cut that.
I had some scissors. Where are they? I have this hole punch. Will that work?
It's a start. It's a start. All right.
Is there a hole punch? It's weird.
We used it for something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we used it for.
Oh,
Yeah, for tying our thingies there, or for our banner. I think we can put the holes in there.
whatever. This is real annoying.
I knew it would be. It's because it's 80 feet long.
It's way too long.
Jeez.
For those of you that can't see us, which is everybody except Steve,
Right.
we are decked out in our Christmas attire.
Yeah, we have
We've
Santa
got our
hats.
Santa
on.
hats.
I got a Santa.
I don't know that mine is a Santa
Sweater.
hat.
It's a Santa hat of
I
sorts.
mean, I trip on it when I walk. It's really long, and I don't know. I'm wearing a red shirt.
Yeah, it looks good on camera.
You bitched enough.
I did.
I wasn't wearing a festive enough shirt.
Yeah, I didn't think pink was appropriate for tonight.
Well, turns out you're the only one that has worn pink on the show.
Right. With my pink Gun Save Lives T-shirt.
Yes.
All right, what do you think about Trump withdrawing troops?
Did
Say
I
that
mention?
fast.
Did I mention that Trump is a jackass?
Yeah, he's withdrawing troops from Syria.
Yep.
And I guess a lot of experts and senators and some generals are saying we probably shouldn't do that because we're betraying the Kurds who we are leaving behind and sacrificed. It's a lot like sort of the Vietnam conundrum in some ways, not exactly the same. Instead of communism, we're fighting terrorism in other countries so it doesn't
What's the
domino.
difference?
Yeah, they're both political ideologies, I guess.
And they kill people.
So, philosophically, I think you and I agree we shouldn't be the police of the world. And we shouldn't be all over the place. What are we really doing there? Why are we there? Is it to make money? Is it to get oil? Is it really to stabilize? Is it really to fight terrorism? Is it there to save innocent lives? To make lives better worldwide? Or
Yeah, worldwide is better since the
why
Earth is
is
flat.
it? What are your thoughts?
About what? I
Withdrawing.
think philosophically, I'm fine with troops coming home.
Yeah.
Morally, I'm fine with it. I
Okay.
think how long do we stay?
Well, that was the same questions they asked in Vietnam, and it went on for 40 years, 1945 to 1975.
Yep.
And with all that bloodshed and death, the results were what happened, what they were worried about, communism in South Vietnam. So I don't know. I don't know what the reasons are.
I think
other
that
than economic.
all of the anti-war liberals should be praising Trump for this, right?
You would think.
But I bet if you turn on CNN or MSNBC, you're not seeing that.
Yeah, they're bitching
I bet
about
they're
it.
saying things like, he's betraying the Kurds. We made promises.
He's acting unilaterally.
Look, Obama said ISIS was defeated like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal?
Did he say, Trump said the only reason for being there was to claim victory over ISIS?
Yeah.
And he claims that we have victory over ISIS. I don't think we do, but
Well, I don't know what that means. I think
Yeah.
I think ISIS is less strong than they were 5 years ago. They're certainly reported in the media less.
but that doesn't mean anything. A lot of killing was
You're-
going on in Vietnam, and it wasn't reported in the media.
You're
either.
telling me that I'm not getting all the facts from the media?
You may not be if you're relying entirely on that.
Let me check Snopes.
I think you need to go there, Nate, and do some remote reporting for ad odds.
No.
And I'm sorry, we don't have a budget to pay for your airfare or your hotel or expenses.
Okay.
But you should go.
Well, look, we've talked to somebody who's been there.
Yes, we have.
They probably have an opinion.
Yes, she does. She won't do our show, though.
She's not, also not the biggest Trump supporter.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, she's pretty small. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what that means. You mean actually physically support him? He's pretty heavy. She's pretty wiry, though. No, I don't know that she's actually anti-Trump.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I thought she
I said not the biggest supporter.
Oh, it was her size.
I mean, no,
Her-
it
she
was
was-
that
she
was
was-
the joke I was making, but I'm serious.
She's
There-
diminutive.
There are people that are like 100% pro-Trump, like he's the Messiah, like people were with Obama, right?
Right.
She's not one of those people. She's posted
No.
plenty of negative things about Trump. My whole point, fair and balanced, just like the rest of Fox News.
I don't think you're a 100% Trump supporter.
No, I never said I was, ever.
You kind of did early on.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you said he
Never
could
said
never
that.
do anything wrong, and you were behind him 1,000%.
Right.
And here we are. You're calling him a jackass on the internet.
Well, I support you, and I've called you much worse.
Oh, yes, you have, just tonight. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it will actually happen, right? Just because Trump says he's doing or did something doesn't mean he did or it's going to do it.
Do you think all these people were surprised when they heard that bump stocks were banned now because they thought they were banned 2 months ago when CNN reported that they were?
I think there's some are, yeah.
And they were
They're
like, "Whoa, what happened?
This is old news. Why are we hearing about it now?
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, you just had to get that little dig in, didn't you?
I did.
All right. Let's see. Ooh.
More good news from Trump.
I talked to someone who knows federal employees and was a federal employee and was very upset by this because these people are going to get laid off and they're not going to get any money. And I said, they get their money eventually. Well, yeah, but it takes time, and they're not ready for it. And if they're out for weeks at a time, I said, that's on them. If they don't have, $50,000 or $60,000 in cash in the mattress to take care of things like this, then that's their fault.
Is that where yours is in your mattress?
No.
Okay.
Damn it! Now I gotta move it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Well, do you have enough to live 6 months?" And I said, "I can retire.
What do you mean?
I'm fine. I can borrow from my 401k. I got a pension. I don't have Social Security yet, but
Don't borrow from your 401k, please.
No, I wouldn't. I'd retire first."
Okay.
What I forgot to tell him is that the state of Michigan, who he works for, had payless days.
Furlough
days.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
we did one round of it anyway.
We didn't a couple, and we didn't get paid then until later. It was deferred. I still haven't been paid yet.
Really?
No, I'm going to take it when I retire.
Oh, I got you. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Letting them
use the money,
gain the interest on it instead of you. Yeah.
But I'm going to buy a boat with it probably. Just
and take all your bump stocks for a boat ride.
Dump them out in the middle of Grand Traverse Bay. All right, so so you're all in favor of shutting the government down?
100% in favor of shutting down the government. So the idea is that they need to pass this continuing resolution or something to fund the government because the budget's up tonight, I think, like maybe at midnight tonight, and 25% of the government is at risk of being shut down. We've already funded 75% of the government. We're only talking about 25% of it.
Right.
Of that 25%, only the non-essential parts would shut down.
Right.
So you're probably talking like 15%.
Most of them.
Well, I mean, all of the government is non-essential, but that's beside the point.
Isn't the government worried that people will realize they don't need that 15 or 20%? That they'll never... Oh, wait a minute. Damn.
Yeah. So it's not even like a big shutdown, not even that big of a deal.
And we've had them before.
It happens all the time. The government shuts down for different reasons.
Yep.
I mean, and you know what? You don't even notice if they don't tell you. So it's absurd.
Well, a few people may. There may be some. But most, like you said, most of the, what would you say, necessary?
Essential.
That's the word, will continue to go.
So Trump came out and said, if there is not funding for the border wall, I will not sign the continuing resolution. No, what do you mean?
Oh, it's all part of it?
This is all related. And the Senate and the House passed a continuing resolution that did not include, it was something like $5.7 billion. It did not include that for the wall. First, Trump said, well, I might be okay with it. And then today he came out and said, no, I'm not signing it. He had a really long meeting with the Republicans, and they came out and said he won't sign it, so we're going to go try to hurry before midnight and get a bill passed. And I haven't heard if they've done anything since then. Well, the House, as of 8 o'clock, the House passed a stopgap bill with the $5 billion for wall funding, which philosophically I don't necessarily want to spend the $5 billion, but I think it's a huge win and very important for Trump to stick to his guns, because he sat in with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and said
last week,
I will shut down the government. I will be proud to shut down the
I
government.
will take responsibility for doing it.
And I'll take responsibility if I don't get funding for border security. And then came out and was kind of some of the reports saying he might sign it anyway. And the Democrats were all partying, saying, woohoo, right?
We won, yeah.
We won. I think it's huge.
He blinked. Now they blinked.
Again, I'm not 100% in favor of the wall, but if he doesn't do it now, it's definitely not happening when the Democrats get control of the House in January. So we'll see. They also were trying to add in like $8 billion for disaster relief from like hurricanes and fires and things, which is really the problem with government. Is it's like, well, I guess if we have to add the $5 billion for the wall, then
that's
what's another $8?
Yeah. Jeez.
And to the scope of the whole thing, it was like a couple $1 trillion budget, so not a big deal. Also, let's not forget, Brian, that the whole reason we're here is because the government can't pass a budget for the whole year like they're supposed to do.
You mean you and I sitting here in the studio?
Yes, this is the only reason we're here. If they could pass a budget, we
wouldn't even be here?
No, we'd quit. So I guess if you want
good.
us to quit at odds, just pass a 12-month budget.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there it is.
Fast,
the news. Ding.
We'll be signing off now.
No, I mean, the reason we have to keep passing these continuing resolutions and having the threat of shutdown
because the government can't do its job.
Right. Terrible.
Well, the next thing that we want to talk about is exactly about the wall. And my question was, without government, who will pay for the wall?
People.
And apparently a veteran,
well, not him specifically,
has campaigned and created a GoFundMe trying to raise a goal of $1 billion to help pay for the wall. And I guess he's got almost $1 million in just 2 days.
Yeah,
which is pretty
and it's
impressive.
over $1 million now. I looked at it.
Yeah. GoFundMe is very happy.
No, I'm sure because
they get
a nice percentage of that.
Yeah, and see, I don't know what you do with that. Let's say he does raise $1 billion. He's not going to, but if he did, who does he give it to? Does he sign a check over to Trump? Does he sign it over to the Build the Wall part of the government?
No, I think the
How
government.
do you know that the government's going to use that $5 billion?
You send it friends and family through PayPal.
I see.
Okay. The U.S. government.
U.S. government.
No, I think
be sure to spend on wall.
I think they're set up to take donations. I think they can. In his GoFundMe, he cites a case where a rich person, a billionaire, donated a bunch of millions to rebuild the Washington Monument or something.
A specific thing.
Yeah.
And they use that money for that.
Well, he didn't say that. Just that the guy donated money.
But
I don't know.
See, that's sort of a monument, and so you can kind of track that and have.
Oh, you think the wall won't become a monument?
I don't think
you
the
think
wall
it will
be a
have
monument.
Trump's
No.
picture all over it on the Mexico side.
Would it be cheaper just to have tanks stationed 100 yards apart across the whole border?
Of course it would.
Okay.
Two problems with that.
Yeah.
Well, really only one. It's not permanent. Well, I mean, it's not as permanent as a wall, right? So, like the next Democrat president would easily say, "Okay, no more tanks at the border." Less easy to tear down a $5 billion wall.
Good point. Good point. No, I think you could dedicate the tanks forever.
I don't think you could do that.
Yeah. You know how you do it? You don't give
pour
them
cement.
you cement them in place, and you don't give them any gasoline.
Okay, that's
or
good.
Diesel.
Yeah.
So they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but
you just give them food, water, and ammunition.
I also, this was weird. Trump was talking about if he can't get the whole concrete wall, he'll just do metal slats, something like. Yeah. Next, we're just gonna have chicken wire.
It would be like a winter.
One of those orange
plastic mesh nets.
For those of you in places with snow, anyway, to stop drifting, mostly
of snow.
Yeah, of snow.
They might use them for sand. I don't know. Probably not.
I doubt it. I don't know.
Okay, so if you want to, you can go and look for that on GoFundMe, and you can donate to the wall.
Don't do that.
But there's private people paying for a government project.
That by the way, this is how every single piece of government should be funded. Everyone should be funded with not necessarily GoFundMe because they're greedy, but should be funded with private donations. Mm-hmm. Everyone. And if you can't get enough donations to pay for something, then I guess it wasn't that popular.
I don't know that there's enough wealth in the world to pay for everything the government does.
Well, how does that work? Where's their money come from then?
They print it.
I wonder if that's another problem.
Yeah. I think they realized that since 1913 or whatever.
Hey.
Or at least when they went off the gold and silver.
Well, 1913 was Federal Reserve, right?
Right, but they're the ones that control the printing of the money, I think.
Well, yeah. They print
Reserve.
it and they sell it.
Right.
I mean,
well,
it's a
they
racket.
loan it.
Right. They loan it
for
for
low
interest
interest
to
rates,
the
yeah.
government.
Yeah.
It's man,
It's a great scam.
it's a whole mess.
Those bankers really knew what they
It's
were doing.
way worse than you can imagine
Yeah.
if you actually look into it.
Research
It doesn't make any sense. You ready for a break?
If you want,
I don't know.
or do you want to do just this one?
Yeah, let's
Next,
do this
and
one
then-
because this will be good.
Yeah.
Because this is super necessary and we need to talk about it.
Your friend,
Uh-oh.
Cory Booker,
Oh.
the Democrat from New Jersey,
Yes.
your friend and
yeah,
mine.
Yeah.
he's a strong defender of black people and a champion against racism
Sure.
and a commie.
I think that's commendable. Oh, that's not commendable.
And Democratic representative, I think, Kamala Harrison. And
Is it Kamala? I think.
Kamala. And then South Carolina Republican Tim Scott. They have proposed, and it looks like it might go through. They introduced it in June, and I don't know. I don't know if it went through yet, or it looks like it will. But they've created an anti-lynching law. Did you did you know that lynching was not against the law before this?
I will tell you, I have done as many lynchings as I have ever wanted.
I know you have.
So I was surprised to hear.
And not only are they going to create the anti-lynching law, they're going to add on hate crime to it.
Oh my goodness!
So that the feds can get involved instead of a local issue.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's great.
Because we want the feds involved.
Listen,
in
I
that stuff.
think that's good. The number of lynchings is just out of control, and I think a law.
I'm getting to that. Go ahead, and we need a law because laws stop
It
behavior.
will stop the lynchings.
It's going to make it a hate crime punishable by up to life in prison.
Oh, like murder isn't.
Like murder is.
Murder's not punishable by that, is it?
But see, it's going to make it federal again, so they can pick and choose what they want.
Yeah. Who put the federal
Now,
government
the
in charge of
NAACP did research on lynching,
Okay. All right.
and they came up with some numbers
Okay.
that between 1882 and 1968, there's been 4,743 lynchings.
How
Excuse
many
me.
was that?
4,743
4,743.
up to 1968. After 1968, I don't know that there's been any, if a couple maybe. But almost 3/4 were black. So 25% were non-blacks.
Well, here's a question. Is lynching of a white person also going to be hate crime?
Exactly my question. It
Wonderful.
has to be.
That's 55 lynchings a year for that 86
That span.
years.
Yeah. That's one estate a year.
What?
That's one estate per year, right? 50 a year.
Oh, one per state.
Yeah.
You were saying estate. I was
Estate. No, I didn't say
like,
estate. A state.
Yeah. About. Also, that was the 1880s through.
Right, which was probably a higher percentage of lynchings.
Yeah,
going
I would
on
like to
per
see
year.
the curve.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it.
The point is,
might have
lynching
bumped up there in the-
lynching is against the law. You can't murder somebody.
Yeah.
And making a hate crime, I don't know what that does
Yeah,
other than
it's-
put it in
it's-
the federal government's
It's
hands.
ridiculous.
And to me, it's posturing. It's theater. It's
Oh, of course it
making
is. It's
Cory
it's-
sound like a
I'm Cory
defender
Booker
of the black man.
running for president in 2020, and let me point to all the
Stuff
good
I
things
did.
I've done. But this one is not.
'Cause
The
it's not
Justice
needed.
for Victims of Lynching Act. You go to their support group.
They have a GoFundMe site. They probably do. All right, so that's ridiculous. Let's do a trivia question because I know you want to do trivia.
Yeah, I do.
This one I found.
What? Sorry, I should have saved it for this day in history.
It's still there.
Yep.
We have crickets all over the studio. I found this one the answer to this interesting and incredible.
Okay.
And the people that I asked it of testing it before the show, because that's the kind of research I do, Nate.
I'm glad I could help with that.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
And they always guess. Well, I'll tell you what they guess when we get people who will guess. And then I tell them the actual number, and they should be shocked by it. And I don't know that they are. All right, here's the question. And it might be awkward, so I'm going to repeat it 7 times. What is the largest number of arrests in one U.S. city for one event over a 24-hour period? So within one 24-hour period, by one jurisdiction in one city, how many people were arrested? And extra points if you can describe what the protests were, the year, the city, and the name of the group.
Wow. Name of the group arrested?
Were the organizers of the event.
Okay.
I'm sure some of their members were arrested, but others were too.
Got it. All right. We'll be right back.
Lock it in and rip the knob off. Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
You know advertising works, and as you listen to this right now, so are others. Advertising on the internet is a proven way to get your message out there. So if you have a business or some message you want to get out, why not advertise on At Odds? Our rates are reasonable, and we can create and record an ad for you at no charge. If you already have a 15, 30, or 60-second audio ad, we can play it on our show. At Odds can be heard on Red State Talk Radio, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and you can watch it on our YouTube channel. You can mail us at talk@oddshow.com, and we can discuss and personalize an ad campaign for you today.
It's a bumpy ride through the political jungle with Nate and Brian.
Whenever I'm feeling a little down under, I can always count on Nate and Brian for their interesting perspective on topics important to freedom and civil rights by listening to the At Odds Show. Nate and Brian cover important topics with insight, intelligence, and of course humor. I can always expect a laugh or two. So if you want to be informed and have a great time, give these guys a listen.
At Odds.
The At Odds Show with the greatest political talk show hosts in history, Nate and Brian. And it's sad that they actually believe that. So give a listen because the delusional need love too.
Are you looking for some way cool t-shirts? Check out ChugDug.com. They have hundreds of crazy fun t-shirts like gun, patriotic, and you better believe zombie shirts. At ChugDug.com, you'll find quality shirts at a quality price. All shirts start at just $10 with free shipping over $50. Mention Radio 1 coupon code at checkout and grab a cool 10% off. That's ChugDug.com. T-shirts with attitude.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
If you like the At Odds Show,
And we know you do.
why not order your very own At Odds t-shirt sizes small to 6XL in a cool black color?
So support our show. Check out the great prices at chugdug.com or head over to our website, atoddshow.com, and click the link.
And, unlike listening to our show, you won't be disappointed.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! I just want to say that those two boys, Nate and Brian, have been very naughty this year. Ho, ho, ho! Oy vey.
This is good old Russian Santa.
I haven't been naughty all year. Some of the year.
You know what I hate?
What?
Hats.
How's mine look?
Anytime
Is Janet on straight?
Yeah.
Here's a trivia question.
Okay, let's try this again.
What is the largest number of one-day arrests in the U.S. in one city? And some of our guesses were what?
Race riots in 1952, which I don't remember them, but I don't think there were that many people arrested.
And yeah, most of the riots occurred in the late 60s, race riots.
We got taking down the Berlin Wall.
But that's great, but they're not
US?
guessing the numbers.
Yeah, nobody guessed the numbers.
Really?
What do you want me to pretend like?
Sure, you can pretend.
1700, they guessed.
Why don't you give your guess?
I
first
think
guess.
the closest guess that we got was Spartan Village, and I think they're referring to
Michigan
the
State.
apartments at Michigan State University.
I lived
which
in
is
those
close
apartments.
because there's a lot of riots. Did you really?
Yep.
Wow, a lot of
Year
riots
after
there.
it was
I think.
built, 1957.
Yeah, but no, that's not it. What was my first guess? 32 or something like that.
I thought you said like 130.
Maybe, whatever.
Yeah, most people that I asked would say 100.
But let me tell you how this went. Is
Don't get into that. Just because I'm dyslexic and
not
can't
dyslexic, you're just terrible at reading numbers apparently.
See.
Because I guessed something like 70,000, and you said higher than that.
Yeah, it was a decimal
Turned out it
place.
there was no decimal point in there though.
Well, there were definitely digits.
I wouldn't expect a geologist to
No, right.
be able to do anything.
That's why I study rocks and not mathematics.
Yep.
All right, so
Forget about counting them though.
nobody
Oh,
nobody guessed a friggin' number.
No, nobody.
All right.
Nobody did guess a number.
It was 7,000 people
Yeah, that's crazy.
in one
That's a lot.
day. 12,000 total over a 3-day period.
It's a lot of people.
And it happened May 1971 in Washington, D.C. during Vietnam protests by the May Day tribe. It was a big anti-war group. They had, I think they said the historian said the largest number of people at any event as a protest in the history of the United States.
Oh, wow.
Lots and lots of people. And then they had those all over the country as well. So, yeah, you imagine, just do the numbers, booking them. Let's say it takes 10 or 15
ridiculous.
minutes.
That's
Now,
it's a lot of minutes.
I will say that almost everyone that was arrested was not charged, and the charges were dropped.
Where was it?
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And they had the Washington Police, and they had the Monument, the National Park Service Police,
Yep.
and they had 3 military units there. Nixon wanted, he wanted the military there, even though they can't arrest people.
Did they?
I don't know. I suspect they certainly helped. They're there to keep the peace. They're not there supposedly. Well, I guess they can detain and have police do the actual arresting and enforcement.
Sure. They have a lot of guns, so it's hard to say no.
Right. Well, they learned that in Kent State earlier that year. Yeah. Or that same year, maybe. Where the students got shot. All right, so this day in history, also
good.
Army-related.
Ooh, good.
On this day in 1957, the year I was born, Elvis Presley receives his draft notice for the United States Army. He received his draft notice for a 2-year stint in the Army.
Quickly ran to Canada.
Fans sent tens of thousands of letters to the Army asking for him to be spared. But Elvis would have none of it. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to go serve. He reserved one deferment, though, because he was making a movie at the time. So he was sworn in on March 24th, 1958.
Wow.
After 6 months of basic training, he had one emergency leave to see his dying mother. And for the next 18 months, he served in Company D, 32nd Tank Battalion, 3rd Armor Corps in Friedberg, Germany. He eventually became a sergeant.
Did he make it back?
He made it back, no Purple Heart. An Army buddy of his introduced him to 14-year-old Priscilla, who he later married a couple of years later. He was widely praised for not seeking to avoid the draft or serve domestically. Presley was seen as a model for all young Americans.
Well,
and you'll like this, and all of the vaccine supporters. After he got his polio shot from an Army doctor on national TV, vaccine rates among the American population shot up from 2% to 85% by the time of his discharge in 1960.
so he was a role model for all Americans, but also he was destroying America because he moved his hips.
I heard that he was a singer.
Oh, I don't know.
That he could sing, too.
I don't know. Not that well.
Well enough.
It worked out for him.
All right. Oh, let's announce, too, that next week we're not going to have a show.
Let's do that right now. You ready? Next week.
Go ahead. Start again.
Next week.
Yeah. What?
We will not be having a show? Is that what?
No, that means we will be. We won't be having a show next week.
There will be no show next
week.
week.
Over Christmas week or whatever.
Because it's 2 days after Christmas, and we'll be recovering from our hangovers.
No, our celebration. I don't drink anymore.
Hey, marijuana's legal now in Michigan.
We're going to get stoned.
No, we're not.
Where were we? Oh, speaking of Santa Claus.
Who... It's right here.
It's right here. Good. I like the way you said that. They are there. They are there.
Look at they.
In Santa Claus, do you look at Santa Claus as male or female? How do you view Santa? Or do you think he's just sort of asexual, neutral?
I usually identify as a female when I look at Santa.
Not you.
Oh,
Santa.
I gotcha. Male.
Yeah, most people, I think, would agree. Let's see, in
Washington,
Washington, D.C.
reasonable people would agree that Santa Claus is a man.
There was a survey, only 400 people.
Well, I'm not sure.
By a design company.
I'm not sure if there were 400. I think there may be a typo in here somewhere.
Why?
Because the next line says they had 4,000 respondents.
Oh, 4,000. I'm sorry. That's a little bit better. But it was they asked people across the UK and the United States.
There's your problem.
It was a design company. And they asked, questions like, should Santa go on a diet and be healthier? Should he carry an iPhone? One of the most interesting questions was, if you could rebrand Santa for modern society, what gender would he be? And over 70% said they would prefer to see Santa remain a male, which makes sense. 28% said they would like to have Santa rebranded as female or gender neutral.
Yeah. Weird.
So what's happening? And you know who that 28% is.
Well, they're all from the UK.
And they're all under the age of 25.
You can't, look, any survey this ball's really annoying, keeps bouncing off my... Grow up, Brian. Jeez.
Oh, Lordy. I hate it when balls hit you in the face.
No, you don't. Any survey that mixes people from the UK and the US is just void.
I would think so. They're different societies.
Yeah. So, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I think it was
not to mention, Santa Claus as a whole, he's just a marketing... you can't rebrand him because he's a real person that brings presents. So,
sure he is.
How are you going to rebrand
Father
Christmas?
How do you get 28% of the young people to say that he should be neutered?
Oh, by the way, our oldest toddler, she's pretty much been raised by Peppa Pig, and so she actually calls him Father Christmas.
Excellent.
Kind of hilarious.
Because that's a British
yes
cartoon.
It is.
My lettuces.
She
my.
also thinks lettuce is plural.
Yes, lettuces. I would like some lettuces in my salad.
She wants the letta.
Oh,
Where
that's
are all the
singular.
lettas?
If she wasn't so damn cute, we'd kill her.
Well, no, we wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Definitely
Maybe
wouldn't
that's just
lynch
me-
her because
maybe-
that'd be a hate crime.
No, you couldn't do that. Let's see. Here's another useless kind of crappy story, I guess.
Well,
Should it be a
I
crime
don't know.
to call public officials corrupt?
Well, that's one way to ask the question.
All right.
I have a different way to ask it, but carry on.
Yes, according to the police in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Exeter.
Is it Exeter?
Exeter.
Exeter? It's Exit. Exeter.
Yes.
Exeter.
No.
They arrested a local man for writing a comment on a news website accusing the police chief of covering up for corrupt officers.
William Shoup is the police
Oh, you
chief.
had to say his name. Now we're going to get sued.
He's. I heard that William Shoup is covering up for corrupt police officers.
I heard that too.
He's corrupt himself.
The man was accused of violating New Hampshire's criminal defamation law, which makes it a misdemeanor to intentionally or falsely disparage another person. Now, that's libel and slander. We already have laws about that.
Right.
If you say, in my opinion,
but
the
they're
chief is
civil.
Are they?
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
don't think libel is a crime.
I guess you're right. Yeah, so
That's
this is
the
even
difference
worse. This
here.
is even worse.
Right.
Intentionally, okay, and falsely. So I guess you have to be both, right? So if it's true, there's no crime.
Right. But you have to prove it, right?
They should have to prove that you did it intentionally.
How in the world
and
would they
falsely.
ever prove that a police chief is not corrupt, since they all are?
Right. So how can
can you-
so they can't arrest him? Is what I'm saying. They don't have a case.
Oh, I agree with you.
Now, if he said the police chief had no sexual organ, they could prove that was false by displaying his sexual organs.
Or you're sure, or if he, I mean,
But if you say he's corrupt or he's a bad officer or he does a
Right.
lousy job, those are all
yeah. Do you know what
freedom.
the Post actually said?
Go ahead.
No, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's in here, I think, somewhere.
I don't see it in here.
Let's see. He's something about, let's see, accused him of misconduct.
Said he covered up for a dirty cop.
Yep. A few weeks later, the police filed a criminal complaint against him. The complaint said that purposely communicated on a public website in writing information which he knows to be false. How does he know that? And knows which will tend to expose another person to public contempt by posting the chief covered up for a dirty cop. The police ultimately, of course, they dropped the charges
Yep.
after the ACLU got involved.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it's almost always police and government officials who are bringing these charges against people that are saying things against them.
I mean,
or
doesn't
political rivals.
that kind of prove his point?
Yeah.
Like you call him
Because-
corrupt and then they show up and arrest you?
Right.
I mean, well, I guess I was right. The real problem here is that it's criminal, that it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, that's,
I don't
you're right.
think that the police or other public officials should be shouldn't have libel and defamation cases. to
That's
bring
their
against people.
recourse.
Right. The fact that something you say is criminal is silly.
I agree.
And I think New Hampshire, because it sounds like it's a state law,
It's a state law.
they should really be ashamed of themselves.
It's New Hampshire.
Themselves. Theyselves. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. But there's a difference when it comes to libel and slander. If you say or write something that say, in my opinion, the chief of police is corrupt.
I don't think that's probably what he said.
Right.
though.
I know that is allowed. When you say he is corrupt, that's an affirmation.
Have you been on the internet?
Yeah. Well, I said some things about in an email about a police chief 10 years ago, and he threatened to sue me for libel and slander and all that.
Okay.
And I said, okay, go ahead.
But that would be different.
Because I said, in my opinion, you're a Nazi. Nothing came. It was intimidation. He was trying to intimidate me. Nothing came of it. But there you go. Trying to scare you.
I get it. And with the First Amendment, it makes it even more sticky because they are public officials. So, I mean,
Yep.
I'm trying to find the post, but I don't see
the actual post.
Yeah, of course.
It might be. Did you go to the link I had?
Yes.
Okay. Well, sorry. Should we move on or?
Yeah, you move on.
All right. Well, this is not news. This has been around for a few weeks now.
I will interrupt you as soon as I find it.
But it sounds like New Jersey did pass a law and a ban on a 10-round magazine or more. And people have contacted the New Jersey State Police how they're going to enforce this newly enacted ban and asked whether they would enforce it on a traffic stop basis, checking magazines and firearms when they pulled over drivers for, like, speeding or something, or whether they would go house to house. They didn't really want to answer it, but they did say, we're not going to rule out house-to-house checks. And they added, we do not discuss enforcement strategies. New Jersey.
Doesn't it seem like they should discuss enforcement strategies?
You would think so. We think that would be a matter of public concern or interest. No different than how they were going to, enforce drunk driving or enforce, drug laws or anything else. Anyways, I don't think many people have turned in their 10-round mags or their 30 or 40 or 50-round mags.
Probably about as many people as are going to turn in their bump stocks.
Exactly.
If you want to side with the police and not with the guy that posted the defaming thing, he was previously charged and convicted by the Exeter police on charges of stalking and criminal trespassing for rummaging through a private dumpster.
Was the dumpster on the street?
It was private. Guessing it was in, probably an apartment complex or something.
If it's in...
Nah, he was convicted, so I'm guessing whatever.
It doesn't mean anything.
He said, they know I'll go to jail if I get convicted of a misdemeanor, and they want to silence me.
Right. Well, Martin Luther King was arrested a lot, too.
And it's,
I don't know if he was convicted
it's
much.
because their police chief is corrupt.
I think so.
Can they arrest me for breaking a New Hampshire law?
No.
We're in the North Pole. There's no laws here, right?
It's anarchy up here.
Okay, yeah, I can tell all the elves and the reindeer. Oh, my goodness. They're getting married.
What was bothering me is all the elves that have antlers.
All right.
Speaking of antlers, there was a case in Missouri.
We got like a minute, so.
Who was a poacher, and he'd killed several hundred deers and was just cutting off the antlers and leaving the bodies to rot.
What a jerk.
He was convicted to, I think, a year in jail for poaching, and he was sentenced to have to watch the classic Disney movie Bambi, which I think is really horrible. I mean, that's communism re-education programs.
Yes. Yeah.
Bambi is an anti-hunting movie, not an anti-poaching movie. Bambi's mother was killed by legitimate hunters.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Did you see their license?
I did check their license. It said issued by Disneyland, USA.
But I think they took Bambi's mother. They didn't just take her antlers.
Oh, no, yeah, they hunted her.
So,
and
I mean,
she didn't have antlers. And,
right.
So I don't know what the hell that's going to do or prove other than a political statement and to force anti-hunting.
Well, how do you feel about
propaganda
a jail sentence for poaching?
I don't know.
It's insane.
I know
how
you would
should
say
feel
that,
about
but
it. It's insane.
if it's one deer, it's one thing. If it's several hundred deer over a 3-year period,
I still see deer around. I think the population's doing okay.
Do you think? But he's stealing from legitimate hunters who want to take a trophy
By
animal.
legitimate hunters, what you mean are people that paid their tax.
Yep, and
Right.
we're allowed to hunt, right?
Right.
So they're depriving those people,
the people that
of a
paid
chance to
that-
take a nice deer,
Yeah,
and to
I mean,
harvest the
everybody
the
knows.
venison.
Everybody knows that giving money to government
Listen.
makes you legitimate.
You have venison in your freezer. You eat venison
Taken by a poacher.
You love it. Yeah. Well, shh. That was between you and me.
Oh, I mean, legitimately taken.
Oh,
all right, we got to go.
right.
We're out of time. See you in next year.
Yep, next year. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.